Hola, y'all. We are striking while the iron is hot with Canadian Stampede Dose 1990. Welcome back to SENOR'S TEW. We finally titled this series. Thanks again for all the likes and subscribes and for coming back time and time again. Y'all have been great. Much appreciated. Without further ado, let's take a look at tonight's card, which will be exciting for Shouty. No doubt about that. We got titles on the line and some real killer matchups for sure. This one is it's going to be an exciting one, no doubt about that. So let's get it going with the Hearts and Spades facing Muda and Hashimoto. As always, we are in Ontario, Canada, for the Canadian Stampede, obviously, the CNE Stadium. And we're starting off pretty decent. Team Japan gets a win over the Hearts and Spades. Bam Bam from New Jersey, and obviously the hometown kid, Owen Hart, does not get a victory here. But the Hearts and Spades look pretty good, and Hashimoto is looking ripe, and we're trying to get Muda a push as well. 4 youngsters that are definitely promising for this roster. Then we have the women's title on the line, and the guy who makes it defense number 6. And she is certainly turning up the heat in the women's division. Then we move right along into the main card, and Hogan is opening up this pay-per-view, which is not a position he has been in maybe ever, if I recall correctly. And he's going up against Rickety Rude, trademark pending, because Rude had attacked him on Superstars just a few weeks ago, and now Hogan wants a slice of revenge. So he's cutting a promo only as Hogan can, and kind of this is a good opportunity for Hogan to bounce back after having lost the World Heavyweight title. Rude did not perform very well with limited time, but Hogan did very well with just 14 minutes. Surprising to see Rude do this type of business. However, Canada does not treat all superstars alike. Basically, only the fully fleshed guys who have been at the very tippy top for a while have the popularity in both the US and in Canada. So I think that is partially the reason. And Hogan is actually probably more over in Canada than in the US, especially ever since having lost in the main event of WrestleMania 6. So that is definitely a big reason there. But nonetheless, Hogan gets back a big victory here, an 82 rating. What more can you expect from a 14-minute match? And this Canadian crowd gets to see Hulkamania run wild here in the opener. So definitely juxtaposition, but nonetheless pleasing. And then we got Bret the Hitman Hart going mano-a-mano with Barry Windham. 2 technical excellence of executioners, so to speak, going at it in a technical masterclass type bout. Windham is widely considered by wrestling insiders to be silky smooth in the ring, and then obviously Bret for mainstream audiences is one of the best technical wrestlers that most people grew up with. So, I mean, honestly, it really comes down to North versus South during this time period. Although I guess you could argue Flair as well. Nonetheless, in the second match of the night, I mean, obviously you could argue if you have Hogan on any card, you could bump him up easily. But a match like this is pretty good spot for it. They get 16 minutes to do what they do, and the hometown kid goes home happy as Brett gets a victory over Wyndham here. But obviously, I don't think it'll be the last we see of Wyndham. Little peek behind the curtain. As far as main faces go, I mean, we need him. So, I mean, he's going to be resurfacing in some form or fashion, but Brett obviously benefits greatly from a big win over a big name, that being Barry Windham. Look at the alliteration of the young one. Senor at it again. Then we have Ric Flair, Slick Rick himself, cutting a promo with the Horsemen because the Busters are going to battle with the Steiners here tonight for the tag team titles. Let's jump right into that one as the Steiners make it defense number 1. Decent match. Steiners get the victory. Obviously, the Canadian crowd stifled this one a little bit, but an 84 is not bad. Not a bad start to the Steiners' first match. And I think once we get back on American soil, we will be... Sorry, just doing a mic check there. We will be back in business and better than ever. Busters did well here in Canada, and this is definitely starting the Steiners off on the right foot. Then we get to Taker versus Steamboat in a rematch of what we had seen at WrestleMania 6, and Steamboat gets that victory back. Good wrestling, decent reaction, and again, this is very indicative of what I was mentioning earlier. These Canadian crowds, Taker is not really over with the Canadian crowd yet. Steamboat, he's definitely been more widely accepted because he's been a big name for longer. So that's why he ends up being a lot more over than Taker here. Furthers this feud. Taker, I feel like getting a win over Steamboat at WrestleMania of all places solidifies him, but this would be a huge win for Steamboat because obviously Taker is handpicked to be a superstar and a face of a movement, and Steamboat has had tremendous success. Former World Heavyweight Champion and NWA Champion, and he gets that win back here tonight against the Dead Man. Then we have what should be a hype package cut short as Sting is found backstage by the Ultimate Warrior. It seems as though Jake might have been the culprit. And this is a build in that Warrior won a 6-man challenge to be the number 1 contender for the IC title. Jake injured the Warrior. Then here tonight, Sting gets injured, so we have no idea who will be facing Jake the Snake for the IC title. Well, Misawa will answer that challenge. However, he comes up just short as Jake the Snake Roberts makes it defense number 2 for the IC title. And in a very good match, Misawa, unfortunately, he wasn't going to be on this card, and honestly, it was the plan to go with Sting. However, I had forgot they had bad chemistry. So, breaking kayfabe, that is the real reason in which, luckily, we had Misawa to pinch hit, for lack of a better term. And Jake looks good, and Misawa, 86, hopefully we can build him back up into a more credible opponent in the future. But before we get to that, Roddy Piper is back We saw him at WrestleMania, but this will be his first match back in quite a long while. He called out the young champ, Davey Boy Smith, on Piper's Pit and said, "Look, boy, I want your title." And Davey accepted. And here we are in Canada, both, well, Roddy's hometown and a second home of sorts to Davey Boy, as he is widely accepted into the Hart family and foundation. So this is going to be a tremendous matchup for the NWA heavyweight title. Without further ado, let's jump into it. A 92 match. Piper certainly helps carry this one and give Davey Boy a very good start to his NWA heavyweight title reign. Superb wrestling, good heat. Davey Boy defeats Piper with his running power slam. That is defense number 2, one being on television. Next, we are on to the main event, as Savage and Rhodes is hyped. Dusty Rhodes had won the number 1 contendership by defeating Ted DiBiase in the main event of Superstars. And now we get to see the new champ, Randy Savage, against the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. But could that American Dream become a nightmare in Canada? Well, wait no longer to find out, because the Macho Man will retain here at Canadian Stampede in an exceptional match. He wins via submission after interference by Miss Elizabeth. Let's pretend that did not happen. And maybe it was a distraction by DiBiase, as that would make a lot more sense. Nonetheless, we get a pretty good match. Definitely not one of the best pay-per-views we've had in a while. However, it was very solid and a challenge nonetheless. Hopefully it helped get over a lot of our talent here in Canada, because that was ultimately the goal, while progressing some of our storylines and starting out our stories on a strong foot. Well, Savage got great heel heat, and that's going to help his psychology. Awesome. Always love to see that. Now let's see what the card rating was. 93. Make no bones about it. It wasn't our best card, but it was a good one nonetheless. And I hope that you enjoyed it, because it's only going to get more crazy, more intense. You haven't seen anything yet. Be on the lookout for War Games, the next pay-per-view. That one should be coming out very shortly. And then we got a lot of great ones coming after that. The Best of the Super Juniors, Great American Bash, King of the Ring, Bash of the Beach, and then SummerSlam to take us through August. All great pay-per-views to look forward to on SENOR'S TEW simulation. I hope that you've enjoyed. I hope that you liked. I hope that you subscribed. Once again, you've been great, and I will catch y'all on the flippity floop.